Batman the Caped Crusader, currently streaming on Amazon. Now, Bill, were you a fan of Batman the animated series?
It's one of my favorite shows of all time. And I hear Bruce Timm is involved in this.
He's the EP on this, and it's hard for someone like myself to even judge this one fairly because if you love the animated series, then you can't help but compare it. I wrote a review of the first couple of episodes, and it was like so hard to not compare it and just see it as its own thing. You know, because it's 30 years later. It's not the same show. For one thing, the animated series had this very kind of anachronistic sort of setting. You could not tell when they were because they had some advanced technology stuff, but they watched black and white television. Everything kind of looked, the cars looked like 40s-esque, but then there were these gadgets. And it was really, really interesting. This one looks a little bit more firmly planted in like the 1940s, which is where, Batman comes from. Batman's a character from 1939. I feel like all the character relationships, they reimagine like a lot of the Rogues Gallery. Harley Quinn is a very different character here. The Penguin is played by Minnie Driver in a gender swapped version of the character called Oswalda Cobblepot, I think the name is. And she gives this very sort of Marlena Dietrich-esque kind of performance when her character is introduced, which is kind of interesting. Hamish Linklater, he does a great job, but nobody's Kevin Conroy. And in this first season anyway, they did not bother to put the Joker in. So that kind of shows you how great Mark Hamill was, because it's like we're not even going to touch that performance. So overall with that show, I think it's only about 8 episodes, or 8 or 10 episodes. It's really well done. The animation is very good. It's not as good as the original series because it's by and large not the old-fashioned cell hand-drawn animation. There's a lot of computer animation in it, but it works. It's got this very like sort of black and white, very, very steeped in film noir kind of color palette and lighting and so forth. But all in all, I liked it. I feel like I want to see more of it if they come out with a season two. But I would say the only bad news is it's not the animated series. It's not as good as the original, but nothing is going to be. The good news is that it's pretty damn good. If you like the animated series and you want another animated Batman series with that sort of style and quality, this is the best we're going to get.
I'm very intrigued by it. I haven't gotten the chance to see it yet, but yeah, the animated series was easily one of my favorite shows of all time. And as a byproduct of that, I fell for Harley so hard when I was a kid. Arlene Sorkin's voice, God rest her soul, everything about her. Like, I used to fantasize about being the Joker, but I would be good to her. It's like I'd be the Joker she deserves, not the one she got. So she's a character that I've loved watch evolve over the years because she was created for the original show. Her backstory, her origins were basically being written in real time. It's also why I love the Harley Quinn show on HBO, and now with spin-off Kite Man Hell Yeah, which was a lot of fun as well. Because again, Kite Man is a very, very like D-list villain in the DC universe. They bring him in for this show just as a gag. He turns into a beloved character. Now he's got his own show. Like it in essence, Harley spun off her own Harley. When you tell me Bruce Timm's gonna be behind, it's like I have to at least give the benefit of the doubt a little bit. I want to see what they do with Harley. In any other random hands, the idea of a gender swap of the Penguin is just dead on arrival. But you tell me Minnie Driver's voicing it, Bruce Timm signed off on it. Okay, it may not work, but I'm willing to give it a shot. So yeah, like this is. I guess my one question is, if you're going to make a direct comparison, is this the X-Men 97 of Batman?
Oh, that's a good question. I haven't gotten so much into X-Men 97, but I would say it's in the same spirit, but it's not a continuation at all. It's a very different show.
A spiritual successor rather than being a direct successor.
That's exactly how I would say it. It's a spiritual successor to the animated series, and it's probably, without the original voice cast, it's the best we're going to get. It's still good. It's still really good. And really what got me about it was seeing what they were going to do with these characters, because it's unexpected and different, and therefore Because I've seen all the episodes of the animated series. I know those characters. This reintroduces them in a fun and interesting way, and I'm totally down for it. I'll definitely, if we get a season 2, I'll definitely watch it.
This is the BTRP Media Network.